Imagine stepping into a time machine. You set the date to 100 years in the past, ready to rewrite history. Or maybe you leap forward to see what the future holds. But what happens when your actions create logical impossibilities? Time travel has captured our imagination for centuries. From science fiction masterpieces like Back to the Future to scientific theories rooted in Einstein's relativity, the concept of moving through time sits at the intersection of fantasy and reality. But here's the catch. Time travel is riddled with paradoxes, mind-bending contradictions that defy logic and challenge the very fabric of reality. What if you could stop a major historical event, but your actions erase your own existence? Or what if a piece of knowledge from the future loops endlessly with no origin? Today, we'll unravel the mysteries of time travel paradoxes, what they are, how they work, and whether science has any solutions. Get ready because this ride will stretch your mind to its limits. What is a time travel paradox? A time travel paradox happens when time travel creates a situation that doesn't make sense. It's like when your actions in the past or future cause a logical contradiction. Think of it as breaking the rules of cause and effect, where your actions today could stop you from existing tomorrow. For example, what if you went back in time and stopped a major invention from ever happening? Without that invention, you'd never know about it in the first place, so how could you travel back to stop it? That's a paradox. These puzzles aren't just fun sci-fi ideas, they challenge the laws of physics too. Even with Einstein's theory of relativity, which shows how time can slow down or speed up depending on speed and gravity, like in a spaceship traveling near light speed, we still don't have answers to these mind-bending contradictions. In short, paradoxes are the reason time travel isn't just a thrilling idea, it's a complicated one. Types of time travel paradoxes. Time travel might seem like a thrilling concept, but it's not without its complications. One of the biggest hurdles is the paradoxes, logical contradictions that arise when the past, present, or future collide in unexpected ways. Let's explore some of the most fascinating types of time travel paradoxes, starting with the infamous grandfather paradox. The grandfather paradox. Imagine traveling back in time to meet your grandfather before he had kids. What if you stopped him from meeting your grandmother, either intentionally or by accident? That action would prevent your parent and ultimately you from ever being born. But if you were never born, how could you have traveled back in time to change things? This is the essence of the grandfather paradox, one of the most famous and mind-boggling contradictions in time travel. It questions the very nature of cause and effect. If you alter the past in a way that prevents your existence, the chain of events leading to the alteration can't exist either. Fictional example. The movie Back to the Future, 1985, beautifully illustrates this paradox. When Marty McFly accidentally disrupts his parents' first meeting, he risks erasing himself from existence. As a result, Marty has to fix the past to ensure his own future survival. Scientific implications. From a physics standpoint, the grandfather paradox challenges the principle of causality, which states that every effect must have a cause. It suggests that altering the past might be impossible, or at least heavily restricted by the laws of the universe. Some theories, like the many worlds interpretation, propose that changes to the past might create alternate timelines rather than affecting the one you came from. The Bootstrap Paradox. The Bootstrap Paradox, also called the ontological paradox, occurs when an object or piece of knowledge exists in a time loop without a clear origin. It's like a chicken and egg situation. You can't pinpoint where it all started. This paradox, also called the causal loop, was discussed by Rudolf Carnap in 1947 and further explored in science fiction. What does it mean? Let's say a time traveler from the future goes back in time and hands a scientist a groundbreaking book on quantum physics. The scientist studies the book, publishes it, and it becomes famous. Decades later, the time traveler finds that same book and takes it back in time to give to the scientist. Here's the twist. Who originally wrote the book? Fictional example. Christopher Nolan's Tenet provides a mind-bending illustration of this concept. In the movie, objects and knowledge are passed back and forth through time inversion with no clear starting point. Another example is in Doctor Who, where Beethoven's music is given to Beethoven by a time traveler, meaning Beethoven never actually composed it. Scientific implications. The Bootstrap Paradox challenges our understanding of causality and the law of conservation, which states that energy and matter must have a source. If objects or information appear out of thin air, where do they really come from? The Predestination Paradox. The predestination paradox traps events in a circular loop of cause and effect. In this scenario, the actions of a time traveler are crucial to creating the events they were trying to change or prevent. It was popularized by science fiction stories like The Terminator and 12 Monkeys. What does it mean? Imagine someone travels back in time to stop a disaster, only to realize their actions are what caused the disaster in the first place. The future they're trying to change is the same future that sent them back, creating an unbreakable loop. Fictional example. The Terminator series illustrates this beautifully. In the first movie, Kyle Reese is sent back in time to protect Sarah Connor, only to become the father of John Connor, the leader who eventually sends him back. Another example is the classic tale of Oedipus Rex, where attempts to avoid a prophecy only ensure it happens. Scientific implication. This paradox suggests that time might be immutable, set in stone. If true, it implies that free will is an illusion and we are all following a pre-written script. Philosophers and physicists alike grapple with whether this means our actions are destined or if there's some room for choice. The Fermi Paradox. Have you ever wondered, if time travel is possible, why haven't we met time travelers yet? This question ties into the famous Fermi Paradox, which asks why we haven't encountered advanced civilizations in the vast universe. In the context of time travel, the mystery deepens. Where are the time travelers? One possible explanation is the existence of a non-interference law, a rule that prevents time travelers from meddling with events in the past. Perhaps future civilizations have mastered time travel, but follow strict ethical guidelines to avoid paradoxes or disrupting the timeline. Another theory is that time travel might only allow movement forward in time, not backward, making it impossible for future beings to visit us in our era. Another possibility. It could also be that time travelers are here, but they're incredibly good at blending in. Imagine time tourists discreetly observing historical moments without revealing their presence. Or maybe they're from a future so distant that our current time period holds little interest to them. The Polchinski Paradox. The Polchinski Paradox, rooted in quantum mechanics, raises fascinating questions about time loops and physical interactions across time. It was proposed by physicist Joseph Polchinski in 1991 to challenge the idea of time travel consistency. What is it? Imagine this. A billiard ball is sent into a wormhole, traveling back in time. When it exits, it collides with its past self, altering the trajectory of its earlier path and potentially stopping itself from ever entering the wormhole. This creates a paradox. If the ball never enters the wormhole, how could it exit and interact with its past self in the first place? Scientific implications. Polchinski's thought experiment highlights the potential conflicts between classical physics and the concept of time travel. It suggests that the universe might self-correct to avoid contradictions, aligning with the Novikov self-consistency principle, which states that events in a time loop must be consistent with one another. Are there any more time travel paradoxes? Yes, there are. The 5 paradoxes we discussed earlier are the basic and major ones. However, there are several other intriguing paradoxes introduced by brilliant minds in physics and science fiction. Here are a few. Twin paradox. Rooted in Einstein's theory of relativity, it explores how time dilation affects twins when one travels near the speed of light. Observer effect. Paradox. Inspired by quantum mechanics, this paradox examines how observing events could alter outcomes. Time dilation. Paradox. Another concept based on Einstein's relativity, showing how time passes differently for observers in different frames of reference. Hawking's chronology. Protection conjecture. Proposed by Stephen Hawking, the chronology protection conjecture suggests that the laws of physics prevent time travel to the past. It implies that natural mechanisms, like quantum effects, would stop paradoxes and maintain a consistent timeline. Time travel fascinates us, but the paradoxes we've explored show just how complex and puzzling it can be. From erasing existence to loops with no origin, these mysteries challenge everything we know about reality. What do you think? Could time travel ever become a reality? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please subscribe, give us a like, and share this video. And we would love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and let's stay connected.